Morning, guys. Okay, so Bitcoin has reclaimed support, I'm saying, and I want to share with you guys two levels, a support and a resistance level that you need to use for the 4 hour for today. So all your trading needs to happen within these ranges, and your longs needs to be close to the bottom of the support level. I'm going to be sharing with you in the shorts, obviously, at the resistance area. Let's make some money. Yes, Chris, you've got it right. Good morning, Renee. Good morning, Jason. Guys, right out of the bat, okay, our short has been doing really well. And last night, let's hide the setup. I basically said the following things. I said, if Bitcoin can get above 78K, that is jumping the bearish or the strong bearish scratch that. That is jumping the strong bullish divergence pivot. The resistance, we will be good for scalp long to at least 82K. Now, that was there. Now, if we look at where we are at the moment, price went up to about 80,800 and probably still has an opportunity to maybe hit that 82K. So, in essence, because we jumped across pivot, I'm going to show the pivot. I think that we're going to try and fill the gap during the run of the day. Good. So that's the simplest way to look at the game plan. Now let's look at the TA and let me show you how I explain how I'm getting to that conclusion. Before I do that, do me a solid, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you're new to the channel, let me know in the comments. And like the OGs, say hi. I would love to see, love to know who's watching. Okay. First things first. For the longest time, Bitcoin has been trending bearish. We've been tracking this. We've been hitting the highs. We've been hitting the lows. We've been shorting Bitcoin as it's on its decline. And what I'm saying to you guys, and what I was been saying for the last while now, is when we had massive sell-offs, so if we mark that by, say, X, and the amount of time that it took for the market to build momentum for its next massive sell-off, which probably will be 2X, that stage, and we look at the amount of time it's been taking now for this little bit of sell-off, which is probably a half a X, okay? It's clearly showing you that the bears are getting weak or the bulls are getting stronger. And it means that we need to start, instead of having blind faith of just going short, there needs to be an insurance in the market for ourselves. Meaning I want to buy a long as well as trade short. That's the game plan. So you need to be able to take both sides of the market right now, because you don't know where it's going to go next, but it's at that point where it can turn. So if the short fails now, it's not going to be like the previous time when the short fails. It's just a little bit of a shakeout. If the short fails now, we're probably going to start establishing trend. And then these kind of trend lines, these analysis lines, they're going to be pointing in the upwards direction, which I think is going to be a big relief to everybody. Okay. Now, let's take away the brush strokes. Let's then have a look at this little piece of price action. When you have divergence in the market, price makes a lower low, the RSI does the opposite. I always say that the initial pivot, the pivot that creates the divergence, that one there, as soon as price can reclaim that, you're allowed to say, okay, right now, the divergence is playing out and we've got to move. And once we're above that area, the market will go and test that zone. And that is where you need to be patient and look for your long. So typically the easy trade is to say, don't try and buy or time the bottom, because it's hard to do that, but wait for the market to give you that pivot and then you try and trade off that. Okay. So it makes for an easy, simple trade. And it's a simple 4 to risk to reward ratio. I mean, how long it takes. So now I'm saying to you guys in the same way that what we've done now on the RSI is we've created our initial pivot. This time the market's a little different, but that support area is still there. So I'm saying to myself, okay, if price can hold the demand zone that created this pivot, there's the demand zone. Price can hold the demand zone that created the pivot. then we're going to be trending up a little bit further. And that's where the long idea kicks in. So the idea is very simple. We want to try and go long on the basis that we're expecting a breakout. And if we expect a breakout, where is the breakout going to go? Well, it's probably going to jump all of this because all the gaps have now been filled. So it becomes a breakout to 120, which is why I was tweeting that last night. So although it sounds crazy from where we are sitting right now that I'm saying 120, the long ideas that I will be taking now is going to be based on that 120. It's as simple as that. Now, the short idea is off the following. We have a resistance area for the bears that's now broken, which is supposed to be support. So I'm expecting price to hold in this area here. There's another demand zone sitting right there. So all of this is a sea of demand. So this is where you want to be going long. You can use whatever setup you want to use. You can use the buddy indicator, which I would say is the best indicator for you at this stage. So within that zone, come on, where's this? Within that zone, you're looking for your long entries. So there's a hidden bull divergence, another hidden bull divergence. So you'll be using the buddy indicator in this area to try and look for an SO4. And the bear in me is saying, okay, this is the long. This is my insurance. What do I want to see if I want to go short in the market? Okay, very simple. Take away the RSI. Let's look at this price action again and say to ourselves, where's the most argument? Where did the most arguments occur? Okay, if I start there, if I look at there, roughly around 82 thereabout. So we can use this range between 81.9 to about 82. So I'm just going to put the line there, roughly in the middle there, and say to myself, okay, this is the high of the last sell-off. So I'm looking for the highest point on the RSI there. And then I'm looking for statistically where divergence will occur. Hidden bearish divergence. And it tells me that anything from around 80,500 upwards is where I need to look for my short. Now I can widen this to accommodate the wicks, which I think you should do in this instance. And although we've been there twice, any long that's going to push into this zone is where you need to think about adding to your shorts. There we go. Now, timing is key with trading in a lot of times, which means that we might be there the first time, the third time, but it's only the fifth time it's going to be there is when the real sell-off happens. And you can see that when we look at all the other analysis. There we were short. I had the direction, everything was right. But then the market said there's too much liquidity. And everybody got taken out. And then I came back online to YouTube and I said to you guys, go short again. Same analysis. We've got just a higher invalidation. And this is the one that's playing out. So just like this is where we add to our shorts from there. This is the area where you add to your shorts from the short. So you're bearish, you remain bearish indefinitely and undiscriminately. Okay. The market's going to go to shit. $20,000 BTC. You want to go crazy. Okay. You have to have that belief. But because we're in an area where we're getting higher time frame reasons to hope and be bullish, you have to trade both sides of the market, meaning you have to take this long again. And remember, just like this long, we held this one in order to find out whether this breakout was going to go to the moon, and it didn't. So there was a little loss there. All these were gainers. There was a little loss. I'm saying it's time for us to do exactly the same as we did here. Shakeout's now there. We're building a base. Let's start getting in that long because that offsets. If we're wrong on the short, the market's going to drop down and we're going to be okay. Does this make sense? Let me know. I just quickly want to see. There was about 107 people joining in live. Ivan from Croatia. How you doing? And I'm probably pronouncing it wrong then as well. Peter will Peter will school me on Balkan and and the native languages. But hello, buddy. Nice to have you on the stream, Mr. YouTube user. Thanks for joining me. Adolfo, Edu, all the regulars. Let's see what Jason has to say. I'm short at 80,320 and long at 78,730. So basically, what you've done is you've basically positioned yourself in a nice. You can't lose either way. Okay, so let's mark it out. Let's quickly have a look at your setups. So 80,320. So I'm just gonna get that 3 thereabout. That's where you're short, and you're long at 78,700 there. Now, the reason I'm doing this, and I want to share this with you, is just to kind of point out the following thing. Your short has a promise to buy sitting right there. So can you see that your stop loss, the way you're going to protect yourself, so right in the firing range where price wants to reject. So unless your short is up there, it's almost advertised as liquidity that the market's going to hunt for. The same with your long. Your long sitting there, your stop's going to be somewhere down here in this demand. And if the market wants to shake you out, it's going to try and grab your liquidity. So when you're closely positioned within two ranges, that is where Darth Maul, our dear friend, comes in. Because in some instances, the market then just says, okay, everybody, there was a triangle, there's a pattern, traders were too close to each other, takes out the shorts, takes out the longs, and then the trend happens. So just make sure that you don't end up tripping over this anomaly that occurs in the market. That's why I try to buy when the shakeout occurs. Meaning, if I'm going long, it has to be when there was a big move, a big wick or something like that. And it's the same if I go short. I'm trying to look for where that big moves are. So Jason, just be mindful of that. That's something that can happen to you. And it's not like my analysis is any farther from that. But just try and consider the fact that, the big area is still 82,500. And the smaller areas, and the invalidation for the long is 74,300. So there you have it. Okay. So I hope that helps. Shines a little bit of light. Now, friends like Boris and a few others have taken advantage of my Blofin promotion. Now, as I say, I've got a private group. It's elite. The guys in there are hardcore, serious traders. They want to trade with me. They want to trade for a living. And I always try and find a way that I can use a sponsor to get in. And the sponsor deal is this Blofin deal. So I'm going to take this link and I'm just going to drop it because there's a few seats. This is a special link. It's not like the normal Blofin link, guys. So what this link does is it actually gives you, for every $10,000 worth of trading volume, it gives you $10 worth of Bitcoin for free. So there's free $10. Just go get your $10. And basically what it does is for every $10,000 worth of trading volume, you get to spin a little wheel and you can win up to half a BTC in that little wheel spin. That's good. That's really a good promotion, and I like that. So take advantage of Blofin and their campaign, and the way you do that is use that link, guys. So get that done. Once it's done, you can actually go to the navigation channel. You can click on the promotion button, and you can claim your access. So if you deposit more than $1,000 worth of trading, you can actually join my private group. The private group retails for $1,000 once off. Okay, that's simple as that. I trade for a living in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning. I go on. I give everybody an in-depth market tactics review, where I look at the markets from weekly, daily, lay out my sentiment, the trade, the setups. I share the charts. I prepare everybody, and then I go into the live trade room, the private trade room, where I trade with them. So if you want to trade with me, you want to have a little bit, you want to be a fly on the wall with a full-time trader, you can do just that. And because it's a small private group, you get to unmute and talk to me and ask questions, and we can just shoot the can, for that matter, while we wait for our next trade. So make sure to take advantage of that. Blofin allows that to do that. Okay. Once that is done, I'll be more than happy to onboard you, like I've onboarded some of the new guys for a trial period. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. Let's see what John Woods has to say, and then we're going to end off the stream. Okay. Good morning from the UK. Where has all the volume gone in the markets from 8:45 to 9? I have candles flatter than pancakes. Look, it's actually a good thing, because when we move into an area where there's low volume, candles flatter than pancakes, the moves that's going to leave that range is going to be big. So when the bus is empty, it can move, but when it's full, it's really hard to drag it. So when you see those flatter than pancakes kind of candles, that's amazing. You need to sit on your hands, and you need to already hopefully have yourself positioned, because the move going from there will be big. It's just the nature of the market. Now, for me as a trader, where I'm looking at this now on the 15-minute and on the smaller time frames, I'm slowly but surely in the Discord waiting for the guys. There's my trade panel, waiting for the guys so we can start getting in on these small little candles, these small moves, because you can see when it's flat, then the big moves happen. So flatten out. It's your friend. Okay. Let's see what else. John, Mexi has frozen. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't trade on Mexi. That's not nice. Probably they're doing some upgrades or something like that. It's a reputable exchange. I doubt that there should be any issues. Yes, when that happens, maybe as a close off for today, guys, I trade on Blofin, and I trade on Prime, and I trade on Bybit. Those are the exchanges I trade on. Now, the advantages of each one of those exchanges are different. And in some instances, Prime XBT, I trade on the CFD side, which means that I can put my stop and my take profit before I enter the market, which means I'm always safe if something goes there. So by all reasons, I've got most of my trading capital there. I trade on Blofin because it's futures, and they've given you a wide array of altcoins, although I don't normally exploit those altcoins, because if you can trade one thing well, why do you need to bother with charting 50,000 coins? Because we're not living in the world where, there was, like in the beginning when I started trading, Binance had like 100 pairs. So you would go in the morning, hit the space bar, go through all the pairs. Oh, TA is done for the day. You can't do that anymore. There's thousands of coins. So that's the thing. So keep it simple, stick to your exchange, even if that happens. And then this is now the time where the support for that exchange needs to kind of present itself, see whether they're worth their salt, whether they're worth your commissions and your trading fees. Okay. Let's see what else. VPN doesn't work for all. Yes, that's true. That's why I've got for Blofin for the US. It's not banned in the US just yet. I've got Bybit for Asia and in some European areas, and then Prime XBT for my local region, South Africa and Australia, which is where they're allowed to trade. They've got licenses. So that's it. So you can take advantage of any one of these partners within those regions so that you can get the buddy indicator, because this is the second part of the stream, guys. You want to know how to capitalize on these moves? The easiest way is just to use the buddy indicator. Look at those setups. Short there, boom. Long there, boom. And I've got a trader guide in the Discord that goes hand in hand with the buddy. So once you have access to it, you'll have access to this, where you ask yourself a simple question. On the 4 hour, are we bullish or bearish? We're still bearish. If that is the case, what's the emotion we're trading in? The bears are scared now because we are pulling back. So we're trading fear. If that is the case, these are the setups you would be looking for in the buddy. It's as simple as that. It makes it as easy as that. So it's trading by numbers. You're looking for those kind of setups. Those will be the high-paying ones. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Are you trading spot or leverage? Buddy, I don't trade spot. I invest, my hodl bag's a spot. To trade spot, in all fairness, on BTC, you're going to need to buy $2 million worth of BTC on spot and sell it. It's easier just to hold and invest. So leverage that's the best tool for that. For smaller alts, one can use spot or leverage, because they're basically moving 100, 300% and in a week sometimes. So they like leverage coins, but on spot. And the kindness of those alts then, and that's why most new traders like to trade altcoins, is that if you get it wrong, you still own it. So you can't ever get liquidated. So it depends on more on your skill level than anything other than that. If you're new, I would say rather the question needs to be, if you're new to trading, trade spot, but then you can trade alts. If you're seasoned at trading, trade leverage, then trade Bitcoin because you want a deep order book, less slippage. Simple as that. Okay. Let's see what else we have in the comments, and then we can end it. Look, there's a lot of tools you can use for that, but just remember, I've used a lot of these tools. Kingfisher, and those look where you basically can see where everybody's stops are and so forth. The one drawdown is, okay, just like you can, Mr. Tech Poets, put an order in, put a stop, and have it sit there in the order book. Now everybody sees it. If the market does something you don't like, you can cancel that order. And that's the reality. So I would rather look at volume tools than anything other than that, because it tells you what was done and where everybody is in, rather than tell you what they are planning to do, because they can change their mind. So just be careful with that kind of thing. Let's see what else. Leverage 3, 5, X10 or stops are where price would love to go. Okay, I love you because I will show you where all leverage 3, 10. Yeah. Okay, so let's leave it at that. I mean, there's many tools, but what I would rather just say is, for me, the simplest way to look at this is I buy when there's stress in the markets, try and look for that. And then the easiest tool for anybody that is new to trading that kind of want to just save some money, get the point and figure chart. Okay. It tells you where the market's going to go. There, I showed you guys, it went there twice. Is there any gaps? No. So if it sells past these ranges, we're going to be trending bearish for longer. If it reclaims this and starts going above this, is there any gaps? No. We're going to be bullish at least to 103, because that's the next one. These gap targets are your best friend when it comes to trading. So this is all you ever need, a destination map, and then it's on you to do the rest, okay? And all this I teach and show in my Discord, guys. As simple as that, okay? Not that I don't want to do it here. It just takes a lot of time. Okay. Thanks so much for taking time. 20 minutes in. There's about 170 people joining in live from all the various platforms I'm streaming towards. Do me a solid, guys. Just hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the content to a buddy. If you have somebody that's in trading, let's try and get them on ramped. Renee, thanks so much for joining in live. Jason, thanks so much for joining in live. And for the rest of you guys that's in my Discord, I'm going to be heading back into my trade room, and we're going to keep on looking for that. Okay. Point and figure only on 1 minute time frame. Nothing other than that. I don't look at any higher time frame because I want to see where the gaps are. So if you go and study up how point and figure works, look, I'm going off topic here. If you go and study up how it works, you only ever have it on the 1 minute. Simple as that. My point and figure is on the 1 minute. That's it. Okay. You don't need more than that. You don't need to go higher. You don't need to go smaller. And it will give you all the gaps and all the structures you would need. And we can go to the past. Now, this is the problem with point and figure. TradingView starts capping your amount of 1 minute. Depends on your plan. The amount of 1 minute candles used to generate this. So it's sometimes the information gets truncated. But that being said, you can have a look at this. I mean, great destination map. It's the best tool out there, in my opinion, and it's a Wyckoff tool. Okay. So if you want to go read up on that, you're more than welcome to do so. Have a lovely day. Get your Blofin. Do yourself a favor and get your Blofin, and come join me in the Discord. Let's enjoy this market, and let's see if we can squeeze some juice out of it today. Be careful not to position yourself too close. You've got a long and a short setup. I'll clean up the chart, post it on my socials for you guys. And Mr. John Wood, Syed, Ivan, Idu, Chris, and Mr. YouTube user. See you later in the Discord. Cheers, guys.